Australian made and owned, Hi-Tech Oils is one of the largest oil blenders in Australia with a truly national profile, supplying an extensive range of oils, coolant, grease, batteries and much more for all businesses and consumer needs. Choose Hi-Tech Oils for peace of mind.
On today's show, we return to Willowbank Raceway for our continued final round coverage of this season's 400 Thunder Drag Racing Series, the 52nd Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. This week it's the championship deciders in the two-wheel categories of Pro Bike and Top Bike. Then we head south to Winton Motor Raceway in northeastern Victoria as Australian motor racing's big rigs light up Winton's short circuit with round 2 of the Australian Super Truck Nationals. This is Speedweek.
Welcome to Willowbank Raceway at Ipswich in Queensland. We're at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. And on today's show, we're going to be looking at everything two wheels. It's all of the action from Performance Wholesale Top Bike and Serco Pro Stock Motorcycle. Absolutely brilliant field in the Pro Bikes, including International Katie Sullivan from California. She's over here with Rhett Lockheed, former Australian comp bike champion. He's turning the spanners on the team. And of course in Top Bike we've got a championship battle going on there between Chris Matheson and Jay Upton. First up though, the Pro Stock Bikes for Serco. Glenn Worcester, 289 points ahead of Ryan Learmont's 230. Lockie Island's effectively out of the championship. All the focus is up top. Now Glenn Worcester, 59-point lead. It's pretty handy, but is it enough? We're going to find out as we get through eliminations. Now the other big news in Pro Stock, 6 seconds. The barrier was exploded by Luke Crowley down at Sydney Dragway at the Gulf Western Oil Nitro Thunder. Will we see sixes here? I'm sure Matt Kavanagh's going to ask Luke.
We're down here in the pits with Luke Crowley and Pro Bike. Luke, you set the Australian Pro Bike scene on fire last round in Sydney. National record 6.90, the first 6-second run in Pro Bike.
Yeah, we got lucky on that last run in Sydney, and obviously we're hoping to replicate those times this weekend. We found a few gremlins in the bike. Even on that 6.90 run, we found a carburetor basically wasn't working for 1.3 seconds into that run. So now we've got that working. Who knows what's possible?
And you sort of put yourself a team together. You've got 4 bikes in the tent this weekend. Who are you helping out?
Yeah, I've helped a lot of guys out over the past, 2 seasons while my bike was in America, and then, just slowly built up a team of guys that, obviously come to me for advice, and, they still run their bikes as their bikes, and I'll just overlook the data, and Craig Thompson will give me a bit of a, earshot of where we're all heading. But yeah, it's, Scott White, fresh back this weekend. I'm actually expecting big things out. It sounds better than all of our bikes at the moment, his bike. But you can't, Ryan's bike's going to be fast as well. We expect to be fast. Rab's got a brand new engine in his bike that's capable of being, 7.0 potential. So quite potentially we could have, 4 7.0 bikes here in the first round qualifying.
Down here with one of our American visitors for the weekend, Katie Sullivan, California Katie, racing in Pro Bike this weekend. First of all, welcome. Second of all, sorry about the weather. There's not a lot we can do about that, but it's the same drag racing wherever you go, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same way everywhere you go. We always say if you want rain, you got to bring a drag race there. So it happens everywhere. It's just part of the game, but we're excited to get going here.
So this weekend, obviously, first start in Australia on a Pro Bike. Much the same as what you deal with over in the United States, not as many bikes, which I guess is a good thing. What's the plan for the first round of qualifying when it rolls around this afternoon?
I was talking to the boys earlier, and I told them that as our plan, let's just go out and try to do what we do back home in testing and think of it no differently. So that's kind of our plan, and we're here to have a good time, and we've had a blast so far, so we're excited.
Well, that was Rusty Gregory with Katie Sullivan yesterday. The rain washed out any chance of qualifying on Friday, but here we go. Saturday, we've got a dry racetrack, and we're going straight into qualifying in Serco Pro Bike, and Daniel Rabnott to take on Lockyer Island.
I think the big thing right now for these bike riders is the weather that we've got coming potentially later on. We do have 2 qualifiers scheduled today, but I think you really need to attack this qualifying session just in case you don't get that run later on.
Yeah, we've got certainly a nice big field of pro bikes, and this session could be the one that makes and breaks championships. Lockyer Island up and down off the start line, not a smooth launch. But he's going to be the quicker of the 2 bikes with a 7.99, 274 kilometres an hour. 8.39, very disappointing for Daniel Rabnott, Mark.
Yeah, we've seen Rabnott living in this low 7-second zone this season. Let's look at the Sunoco replay here. Let's see what happened to his bike on the launch. It gets out, wheel spin, so that was the big issue there for Daniel Rabnott. Too aggressive, it spun the tyre, and once he got recovered, that 8-second pass, it's going to be tough to stay in the field because we do actually have 9 bikes here attempting to get into the 8-bike field. 8.39 seconds. It's going to be tough, Rob.
Well, somebody's going to miss out, and at the moment, Daniel Rabnott wouldn't be confident. That's for sure. There's another 7 bikes to come behind him. If they all run quicker than he, well, he is going to find himself a spectator tomorrow.
Next pairing on the start line, we've got Scott White to the left of screen taking on this man, Andrew Badcock. These guys are doing a little bit different to the rest of the field. They're running in a higher booster setup on this bike. The best he's ever run with this setup is a 7.49 second pass. Scott White, we heard from Luke Crowley early on today that he's actually got a new combo on board, and they're expecting some big things from this bike, so watch out.
Yeah, most of the bikes are the Suzuki GSX-R based engines. Based, I say, loosely based. Whereas Badcock, well, he's running the later style Suzuki Hayabusa engine. Can it match it with the Big Cube GSX-Rs? Across the line goes White with a 7.32, 285 kilometres an hour. Badcock a 7.47 is quite respectable at 282.
Well, it's a PB for Badcock, so they're going to be really happy with that pass. Sunoco replay here. Badcock with a really smooth launch there, straight down the middle, but Scott White to the right screen, he had a little bit of a ride job. It was moving around. We'll see it here front on. Look at Scott White, left the screen here. Launches up. You can see the wheel up in the air. He's leaning to the right of the bike here. He starts going towards the center line and then finally gets under the windscreen there and through the finish line for a 7.3 second pass.
Yeah, these guys using plenty of body language. It's not just about steering via the handlebars. Here is Morris Allen. Well, he, of course, came from the clouds to win the Pro Bike Championship last year. Has missed a couple of rounds this year and not had a great season. Now it's a case of just trying to pick up a Winternationals result if he can. Comes out hard on a solo. Across the line, 7:33, 290 kilometres an hour. So that 7.3 second zone is pretty populated at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Let's look at the Sunoco replay here. You see him just edge the biking stage. They want to try and stage his bikes as straight as possible. Gets out nice and strong, shifts through the gears, takes it through for a 7.3 second pass, and that should put him in the field.
So, yeah, if you've got a 7.3, you'd be very confident right at the moment of racing tomorrow in Serco Pro Stock Bike Eliminations. But somebody's going to miss out, and every racer going to the line in this qualifying session knows that's the case. Here is California Katie Sullivan and Rhett Lockheed, the Aussie that's now over in the US, based with the Suzuki Superbike team over there, having plenty of success. This is what he does for a little bit of relaxation, works on the pro bikes.
Yeah, Forceware Group bringing Katie here to Australia. Now, this bike in the United States of America has run 6.86 seconds. Luke Crowley beside just went 6.90 only 1 month ago.
Neither bike really tidy off the start line. It'll be Crowley across the line first. 7.10, 309. Katie with a 7.36 at 285. But look at that speed. That shows the horsepower there for Luke Crowley.
Yeah, look at the Sunoco replay here. It wasn't a clean pass for Katie Sullivan, but Luke Crowley, a 7.10. He goes to the top of the charts for the time being. Our number one qualifier. See these bikes just edging into stage. It looked like a pretty smooth launch both sides of the track. They look fairly straight. Front on here will tell us.
Yeah, I think Katie might have had to just try and regather herself there at about the 100-foot mark.
Yeah, had a little bit of a twitch, a bit of a move there for Katie, but that's her first pass on Australian soil.
So those two, very solid passes. Luke Crowley now number one qualifier. Glenn Worcester. Well, our championship leader. Here he comes left of screen.
Now, the name on everyone's lips in testing to lead up to this event was Glenn Worcester. He was over the speed record in testing, and he's got potential to run a 6-second pass here.
But Ryan Lermoth from Perth, number 2 in the championship, fair way back. But this is your title contenders right on the line now. And I tell you what, huge hole shot there off the start line by Lermoth. And our champ leader's in big trouble. Worcester a 9.04. That won't put him in the field.
Yeah, Ryan Lermoth with a safe 7.55. That puts him into the field, but that 9.04, that's big implications in the championship because we only have one other qualifying session later on today, and the weather isn't looking crash hot, Rob.
Well, Glenn Worcester got out of the groove. He's over near the centre line. If he touches that, the run's disqualified. He's between a rock and a hard place sort of thing. If he backs off too much, he won't be quick enough. If he tries to keep the power on, he's onto the centre line and it's all over. But 9.04, that's going to be very difficult, Mark.
He'll be praying that he gets that second qualifying session in later on. Ryan Lermoth, though, he gets into the field. You can see him in the braking area. Yeah, the bike's smoking a little bit there. He was hard on the brakes after the finish line, trying to slow these bikes up from over 300 kilometres per hour.
Well, unfortunately for the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals, and more unfortunately for Glenn Worcester, the rain came in. So we won't get any more qualifying in Serco Pro Bike. Number 1 is Luke Crowley, Scott White, Morris Allen, Katie Sullivan. Ryan Lermoth is down there in number 6. He has to go all the way to the final if he wants to take out the championship. But a very nervous spectator right through the day is going to be Glenn Worcester tomorrow. Let's have a look at qualifying now from Performance Wholesale Top Bike. These are our nitro-burning two-wheel monsters. Jay Upton there on screen, and of course it's been an intriguing championship battle right through the year between Jay, that won the opening meeting, and then our defending title holder, Chris Matheson, who's overtaken Upton by the barest margin, setting us up for a cliffhanger here. Even Gavin Spann is still mathematically still in the title hunt. So you have to say that this should be an incredible finale to what's been an amazing championship season battle between those two guys.
No, well, we've really, this next qualifier could be make or break. We've really got to run a number because there's a risk that it could be cloudy tomorrow, possibly wet. So, yeah, we've got to go out hard. It's a fine line, as you say. You put a bit too much in there and we'll smoke the tyre, and then it's hard to run someone down in the next lane. So, yeah, we're having a bit of a navel glaze at the moment in the truck about what we're going to put in. So the track's good. The minute you drop 1%, you're out. So, yeah, I still enjoy it. All the guys enjoy it. As I've always said, you know, while we enjoy it and having fun, we'll keep doing it. The minute we don't, we'll cut it up and move on to something else.
I hate to say we're going to be in the final before we are, because it's still got another round of racing to go to get there, and as we know, anything can happen. These big races, David and Goliath stuff, and everybody brought everything, you know. If you get to this race, it's all in and everybody can win, you know. We ran into a terrible issue with tyre shake. As soon as we went to Sydney, we could not stop it shaking. Like the big fuel cars do, they shake about that 0.8, 0.9 of a second. Couldn't stop it. It's taken us 3 or 4 races to get on top of that. Then we came here at Easter and had a new and different problem where on the overrun, after you shut off, the blower belt was going through the cam belt and bending every valve in the engine. So we did 2 engines in a row, 2 laps in a row. But it did give us that neck and neck finish, you know, which probably everybody wants to see. So there's good and bad in it.
Performance Wholesale Top Bike qualifying now. We lost session 1 yesterday to rain. Here on Saturday, the skies, well, light overcast at the moment. There is rain forecast for later on this afternoon, possibly. But unlike so many of the other brackets, these guys, they're all guaranteed a spot in the field. And they've even got a luxury. If it does rain this afternoon, they can get another qualifier tomorrow morning on race day, because it's a very small field in Top Bike.
It's a small field, but it's a quality field. Here we have the 2 championship contenders here lined up beside each other in qualifying session number 1. It is about getting a little bit over the other competitor right now.
Jay Upton nearest the camera from Western Australia. He is loose and had to get off it, as did Matheson, who now carries the front wheel. Man, ugly, but it is Matho. Comes out on top with a 7:49 ahead of an 8:95. Not good runs either side, Rusty.
I'm going to tell you something. It takes a special person to jump on one of these nitro fuel bikes in the first place. But the kind of crazy it takes to pedal one of these things while they're sideways out there smoking the tyre, that is absolutely insane. Chris Matheson and Jay Upton putting on a masterclass as to how do they get these bikes down the track when it's not all going well.
Yeah, we're down here with Chris Matheson. Chris, it's a bit of a match up there for 1 and 2, you and Jay Upton. The bikes, though, both of you spun the tyres.
Yeah, both too greedy.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, greedy. We thought the track was a little bit better than what it ended up being, so I just had too much in it. So we'll have to soften him up for the next one.
I'm going to add a little bit to what Rusty just said there. Not only these top bikes are just absolutely crazy, they don't have a roll cage around them. They don't have a 5-point harness strapping them onto the vehicle. There's nothing there when you talk about the safety features like you've got in the sedans and the drags. These guys are just crazy. And they talk about the acceleration of these bikes. They're doing 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 1 second. Holding on. No seatbelts, no nothing. These, I've got so much respect for them, and they just got a bit of a screw loose, I think, in their heads.
Well, we've got Gavin Spann on the right of screen up against Les Holden. I'm not sure the lights worked properly then. Les has come out looking to put out a run. Gavin Spann went nowhere and no time recorded. So, yeah, a timing glitch of some sort, which will be devastating for both riders.
Well, it's Q1 here in Top Bike, and Jay Upton's just gone up against Chris Matheson. Both you guys are throwing absolutely everything at this track, but the bike just wanted to spin the tyre.
Yeah, it looked like he did too, or was he just late? I figured he did too, but yeah, I mean, it's a bit surprised by that. I was worried we wouldn't have quite enough for this racetrack, but we have enough.
Well, that's good news. It sounds like the guys have got the bike on tune.
Absolutely. If something's good, more is better, right?
Let's have a look at the Sunoco replay now and try and see what happened on the start line. There's Gavin Spann on the noodle box bike. Neither rider in stage yet. Les Holden goes into pre-stage and the greens come on straight away, Mark. So that's a malfunction. Yeah. Obviously, Les has decided, I'm going to go and see whether I get a time. Unfortunately, he doesn't. And our starter there very quickly says to Gavin Spann, shut it off, we've got a problem.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for the bike riders there. As we look at that qualifying session now, Chris Matheson obviously on top early here, Jay Upton second place. And hopefully next qualifying session, Gavin Spann and Les Holden will get a time recorded.
The good news for the guys though, of course, is that they're guaranteed a spot in the field. Well, the rain is gone and the sun is shining at Willowbank Raceway for the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals as we enter qualifying session 2 for our Performance Wholesale top bikes. Jay Upton, he will be looking to try and get a full power pass down on this track, as will Chris Matheson. There's a few things at stake here. The top qualifier position, potentially the championship, and what's still up for grabs, Mark, is the first 5-second bike pass in Australia.
That is it. There's a little bit of history there still up for grabs for one of these riders. Could it be Chris Matheson? Could it be Jay Upton? It could happen here right on this pass. We've got the sun on the track. The conditions are absolutely optimal for these bikes, so it's about finding that tune-up, making sure you got that clutch setting right, because these bikes, because they're so aggressive off the start line, it's all about that first 100 feet of the racetrack. If they can keep the power down, watch out.
Look at the clutch dust out of the back of Upton's bike and a huge wheel stand for Matheson. He puts it down about 1,000 foot and still runs 6:03, 309 kilometres an hour. Oh, so close if he'd been able to hold that throttle a few moments more.
Wow, 105, 107 in the 60 foots, both sides of the racetrack. Chris Matheson, 6:03, the quickest pass we've seen this season on top bike. 300ths of a second away from that magical 5-second zone. I'll give you some numbers, Rob. Matheson went 327 kilometres out of half track. The equivalent to that for the finish line for the bikes that race in the States in this class, that's a 570 bike right there. If you can keep the power all the way down across the finish line, you can see backed off about 100 metres before the finish line there and rolled through for a 6:03 still. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm down with Chris Matheson. Chris, you just keep pushing. We're so close to that 5-second run. You've just gone 6:03.
Yep, yeah, that's good. The boys put one in it at the last minute up on the line because we couldn't get a reading earlier on the track. So anyway, we got one in and then we put a little bit more in it. So yeah, it's good to go.
Yeah, when Chris Matheson talks about getting a reading on the track, they've actually what they call a traction meter. They take out before a run, they put it on the racing surface and get some measurement of how sticky the actual track is. So they use that for their tuning side of things and how aggressive they get with the clutch as we move into the next pairing. Now, these guys didn't get a time recorded yesterday in qualifying. Gavin Spann and Les Holden. Oh no, tell me it hasn't happened again, Rob. 2
green lights. Can you believe Gavin Spann's luck on the Noodlebox bike? Look at the guys already. They're coming out straight out with the fuel to keep that thing running when they want to get a pass in. Gavin was looking at this Gulf Western Oil Winternationals as his swan song. So they're trying to reset the computer. They've got the thumbs up. Les Holden is in pre-stage and instant greens again. That is going to be it. And Gavin Spann saying, I want to go, I want to go, I want to get the data if nothing else. And that's exactly what he's going to do. There'll be no time recorded, but he'll have his onboard data to see how the bike's running, and it looked like a beautiful, smooth pass, Mark.
That was a really good pass, Gavin Spann and that team. You're right, the data logger records to the thousandths of a second, so he'll see the data where he got on the throttle of the bike to when he backed off, and they can actually give a bit of a guess of what the bike was doing and how it was running on that run anyway with that logger.
The bottom line is Chris Matheson's our number 1 qualifier with a 6:03 from Jay Upton 6:46. Spann and Holden go straight into the field anyway, but the championship battle is still on. The next time we see these bikes, they will be racing. Qualifying's run and done. Join us after the break. We've got more great action from the pro bikes and the top fuel bikes. Welcome back to the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals at Willowbank Raceway at Ipswich in Queensland. It is race day. We've got all of the action of Serco Pro Bike coming up. And the good news, Mark, the sun is shining, the weather conditions are near perfect.
And the track conditions for these bikes should mean some quick ETs. We could see some personal best here. But the big story from qualifying, our championship leader, Glenn Worcester, is not here in the first round of racing. He was number 9 qualifier. Rusty has caught up with him and find out his thoughts on what's going to happen today.
Yeah, guys, one of the hard luck stories of the Pro Bike pits is this guy. There's only one bike on the outside looking in after qualifying, and unfortunately, Glenn Worcester, that is you. Now, in terms of this championship, you're still leading, but you're going to be biting your nails depending on what happens in this first and second round.
That's right. We're sitting back watching now, and I haven't done that for a while, so it's going to be hard. But look, we threw everything at it there yesterday to try and get down the track. I wasn't expecting it to spin up in the way it did, but that's racing, unfortunately, and what goes around comes around sometimes. And today now I get to focus on what these other boys can do, and we sort of need Morris to probably knock Ryan out, and no one wants to go out, so it'll be good racing, that's for sure.
Morris is no stranger to pulling out an upset at the Winternationals. We know he did it last year to win the championship. So you've got a good guy in your corner, but let's talk about Katie Sullivan over on the other side of your pit area here. She's qualified in the top half of the field, got lane choice for the first round of racing. It's got to give her a little bit of confidence, and when she's only made one run down the racetrack here in Australia.
Yeah, that's right, and these guys know what they're doing, and that's why they're out here, and I hope they have a really good time. They're still in, which is fantastic, and we need that, and I need that because they haven't got points, so I want to see any of them guys go through further. It'll benefit me, but the main thing is we've all been having fun down here, and we've met these people this weekend, and Mitch Brown being out here, and we've had a ball with them, and you wouldn't be dead for quids. So.
It will be a nervous time for Glenn Worcester. Luke Crowley to take on his great mate Daniel Rabnott. Katie Sullivan is going to take on Andrew Badcock. White against Lucky Island. Morris Allen against Ryan Learmonth. Now, you've got to say Worcester will be hoping that Allen can take Learmonth out of it. He's going to be a very nervous man all the way through this 3 rounds of racing.
Here we are. First pairing up, though, will be Lucky Island to take on Scott White. You see Scott White going through the burnout procedure here. They actually do the burnout in third gear in these bikes. That's the strongest gear in the gearbox, and also keeps the engine revs down as well during that burnout procedure.
Well, as these engines got bigger in Pro Bike and more horsepower, we've seen a level of fragility in the transmission, so obviously they don't want to overstress them there. Scott White on screen, and Luke Crowley just gave him a pat on the back. I think Scott, a comeback after 3 years away from racing, and a fair bit of optimism about how much horsepower and what sort of performance they can put out. That's going to make Lucky Island just a little bit nervy about this run, I think.
Yeah, well, Scott White ran a 720 PB before he changed from the 4-valve to this new 2-valve combo on the bike. Well, Scott White's going to get the win because there's a red light in Lucky Island's lane. And Scott White goes through to the semi-finals here in Pro Bike for the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. Runs a 7.60 second pass. Lucky Island wastes a quicker 7.58 there with the red light on the tree.
Yeah, I think Lucky will be beating himself up a little bit here on the Sunoco Action Replay. Leaves too soon, plain and simple.
Let's look at Scott White here. Got off the line fairly smooth, made a little bit of move around about 20 metres out, but he was able to keep the power in there and runs a 7.60, a little bit slower than what he ran in qualifying.
Hey, but a win's a win, and that puts him into the semi-final of Serco Pro Stock Bike. Let's have a look at the view from Scott White's bike here as Lucky Island just goes way too soon on the Johnny Hogshop Suzuki. And Scott White takes the win at the Winternationals.
Scotty White, it has been 3 years since you've seen the Winternationals. You've got a brand new combination. Luke Crowley's helping you out. And Lucky Island red lights in round number 1, which gets you into round 2.
Man, that's amazing. Sometimes you get the luck, don't you? He's really sharp on the lights. He always has been. And I knew I had to cut a light, but the throttle stuck on the line. We had a lot of trouble trying to... almost was going to shut it down, but managed to bring it down and just go straight in without following the routine. So it really bogged off the line. He got me, but I was gaining on him, and then I saw him cross the line first, and I thought, oh, bugger, that's it, another round 1 loss of the Winters. But no! Woo!
Oh, fantastic result there for Scott White. Now Katie Sullivan, is she going to make her trip right across the Pacific from California worthwhile? The 4-square bike straight up towards the start line. Andrew Badcock for Pro Cycle Dyno and Top End Performance. He knows that he's up against a powerhouse team here in round one of Serco Pro Bike.
Yeah, well, Andrew Padcock, he's about 30 horsepower down on these other bikes with the higher booster motor. He knows that. He ran a PB in that qualifying session, so basically for him right now, it's about hopefully doing another PB, cut a really good reaction time, and hope that you can get past Katie Sullivan in the other lane.
Well, Rhett Lockheed there just holding his rider back while Badcock gets ready. Little tap on the shoulder for Katie, and in they head to stage. Badcock will be looking to try and cut a bit of a light here and just see whether we can get a little bit of an advantage off the start line. It's hard to do against Katie Sullivan. Have a look at this bike move in the top end, Mark.
Yeah, 7:01 from Katie Sullivan, 305 kilometres an hour, and 011 reaction time as well. That was the complete package right there.
Have a look here for Badcock.
It was a good run for Badcock as well, but Katie Sullivan with the power on that Suzuki takes the win here in round one, and it was a great run. Like 60 foot was good. She's knocked on the door of a 6-second pass as well.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to be a little conservative in this first round and not overstep the mark. And, well, first win on Australian soil for California Katie.
Well, we're down here with Katie Sullivan, California Katie. She's got her first win on Australian soil. It's fantastic to have her here at the 52nd Gulf Western Nationals, Winternationals. How are you going after that round one win?
Oh my gosh, this has been one of the best times of my life. I can't thank everybody enough that has helped us get here. We're just excited, we're happy to be here, and we're having a great time.
We haven't given you the best weather in the first couple of days, so probably not a lot of data on the bike, so you're probably very happy just to get that down the track.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it was tough, but it's tough for everybody out here, so we're all in the same boat.
Back up to you guys in the commentary box.
Thanks very much, Matt, because we have got a run in front of us here that could determine the Pro Bike Championship for the year. Ryan Learmonth, if he wins this, he's still live. If Morris Allen can put away the contender, you'll hear the screaming from Glenn Worcester all over the racetrack because he'll grab the championship.
Oh, it's a red light from Morris Allen, so Ryan Learmonth keeps his championship hopes alive here.
And he's going to run hard by the look of it, a 7:24, 292 kilometres an hour. Morris Allen throws an 8:24 away with a red. He won't be happy with himself, but the championship is still alive and kicking, Mark.
Yeah, I can tell you, Ryan Learmonth actually did a brand new rear slick on this bike this weekend, and they were hoping to have a few more passes to bed it in here, but it's only the second run on this rear slick. They had to baby it in qualifying to get it off the start line. They got a little bit more aggressive here in this run. They did a big burnout, and they've got to win here at 7:24. I'm sure they can get a little bit more aggressive in the semi-finals. As we know, we've seen Learmonth go a 7:07 at the last round in Sydney Dragway as well.
You see there the onboard on Ryan Learmonth's bike, and he had plenty of work to do across the Willowbank Raceway 400-metre drag strip. Here's Daniel Rabnott moving forward, and he is up against our 6-second man, Luke Crowley. Now, these are great mates.
They are, and Luke actually helps Daniel Rabnott with the setup of the bike and the tuning side of things. They talk to each other, throw things off each other, Chest, of how they're going to set up each run. So they know each other inside and out and what the other guy can do on the track.
Yeah, well, right through qualifying, Luke Crowley was standing beside Daniel Rabnott, guiding him in. There's no such thing now. It's all about the win light. Great crowd in here at Willowbank Raceway for the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals in the sunshine.
Good 60 foot from Crowley, a 112.
He's just got too much horsepower. 704, 309.8 kilometres an hour to a 758. Oh, Crowley has sent a message. This is far from over. Ryan Learmonth, he's down in the braking area with Matt.
Yeah, I'm down here with Ryan Learmonth. Now you are one round close to that championship, your first ever in Pro Bike, but you got through. Morris Allen threw you a bit of a bone there, run a red light.
Yeah, well, we knew Morris is always a tough competitor, so we'd have to go hard at the tree as well. So he knows the same, and he would have went hard too. We didn't really have a setup from yesterday, so we just threw something at it. Turned the tyre still in first gear, so we'll just go back, look at the data, and try and hot her up for the next one.
Here we go, the Sunoco replay here for Rabnott and Crowley. Crowley runs a 7.04 and doesn't get lane choice. Have you ever heard of that in Pro Bike? He'll be taking on Katie Sullivan in the semi-final. She'll have lane choice with that 7.01.
Have a look at the way those bikes launched. Crowley in particular was pretty smooth off the line. I thought we might have even seen a 6.
Luke Crowley, Pro Bike, you're the last round down. You've done a 7.04, so not quite in the 6s, but it is fast.
Yeah, obviously not what we were looking for. We didn't want to overcook the racetrack this morning, with the power. So, we'll go back, we'll hot her up, we'll hopefully come back out and run a 6.95.
Well, in Serco Pro Bike, the championship battle well and truly alive. Luke Crowley is going to take on Katie Sullivan. They are the 2 quickest bikes in the field. Scott White, Ryan Learmonth. That could decide the championship. We've got top bike as well. It's all coming up from Willowbank Raceway's Gulf Western Oil Winternationals after this short break. Welcome back to the business end of the 52nd Gulf Western Oil Winternationals at Willowbank Raceway. It is semi-final time in Serco Pro Bike. A championship is still at stake, and it's going to be decided here, Mark, this run.
That it is. Ryan Learmonth and Scott White on the start line. It's basic. This is it. Ryan Learmonth gets the win. He is your new Pro Bike champion in the 400 Thunder Series. Scott White gets the win. Glenn Worcester is the champion.
Glenn Worcester will be in the stands chewing his fingernails. It's so close to a title for him. But Ryan Learmonth from Perth, Western Australia, he has been the form rider, and it's a red light for White. He's going nowhere. Learmonth is going to get the win. Learmonth is going to get the championship. 7.13, 298 kilometres an hour. There's a huge smile behind that dark visor. The Wise Guy Racing crew, they start to celebrate on the start line, and that team has just done a fantastic job through the second half of the season, Mark.
They have. He's actually unbeaten since he started this season on this bike. He missed the opening race of the year. Gets the Fairy Tale Championship win here right in the semi-finals of the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals.
Oh, you got a feel for Glenn Worcester, but Ryan Learmonth has fought his way through to win this one, and a great victory for the Western Australians.
Yeah, just looking at Scott White's bike there, it's launched and it looks like might have locked up even, might have broken a transmission on that bike. We are riding on though with our 2018-2019 Pro Bike champion, Ryan Learmonth.
Yeah, Ryan Learmonth, you are undefeated so far this season in the 400 Thunder Series in Pro Bike, and you've got yourself a championship. Congratulations.
Cheers, Matt. Yeah, this is awesome. I can't believe it. Really can't believe it. Like, we come over just to try and run some numbers, and now we've won the whole series. So, yeah, credit goes out to my crew, my family. Yeah, what do you say, man? Here they come now. Look at them. We everyone's helped. Luke Crowley's helped so much, man. Just people back at home. Rhett Lockie, the power that he's given us with his bottom ends is wicked. Monster energy, Monster products, with our billet 4-valve cylinder head is just unbelievable. I've never really heard a part in it in the last 5 years. So, yeah, it's amazing. Gavin Forbes back at home, man, does all our machining and stuff. It's awesome. Our jet couriers come on board this season, and the bike's still going like a jet. It's flying, and we won.
It's going to be a big hangover in the plane back to WA.
Yeah, mate. Lucky I'm here for another week to keep celebrating. So, yeah. Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Look at the emotion in that. Don't let anyone ever tell you that a championship doesn't mean much in 400 Thunder drag racing, because Ryan Learmonth has just shown how much it does actually mean to these guys and girls. Luke Crowley now, he's got to take on California Katie for a spot in the final.
I'll tell you a little neat fact about both these riders. They started off in junior dragster.
Well, they've gone to 2 wheels, and here they are fighting for a spot in the final of Serco Pro Bike at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. They are wheel to wheel. This is a great race. It looks like a bike length or so. Katie will get there. 696, 308 beats a 702 at 307. A fantastic pro bike race there.
Wow, that is the quickest side-by-side pro bike pass we've ever seen here in Australia. Katie Sullivan, also the first female bike rider in Australia to run a 6-second pass. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't clean. She was twitching, moving about. Luke Crowley, he tried his hardest. It was side-by-side. You can see Katie there twitching, but she goes through to the final.
Yeah, we're here with Katie Sullivan, and you run the first 6-second pass this weekend in Pro Bike, and you're going through to the final, the first ever time you've been racing in Australia.
This is so surreal to me. I mean, we came here to have a good time and have fun, and we've had a blast, but to get to go to the final and represent Forest Wear Group, man, there's nothing cooler than this.
Oh, absolutely brilliant final coming up. Katie Sullivan to take on the new champ, Ryan Learmonth. Man, that is going to be a race of the ages, I think, in Serco Pro Bike.
Now we move into the first round of Top Fuel Bike. Chris Matheson off a 6:03 in the qualifying session earlier today here in the first round for the Nitro Voodoo team. Big burnout from the team. Look at the crowd here. We're on board, and he'll be taking on Les Holden on the Nitro carbureted bike.
Yeah, the V-twin Harley-Davidson based bike, nowhere near as much horsepower as Chris Matheson, but guess what? He has got consistency to burn, and we know that the Nitro Voodoo runs on the ragged edge sometimes, and we haven't seen Chris Matheson ride it under power through the finish line in a long, long time.
I'll tell you what's interesting, Rob, is that 2 hours ago, Chris Matheson went a 6:03, but he was in the lane that Les Holden was in. He's gone and he's had lane choice this round of racing. He's taken the right-hand side of the screen here lane, so I just find that a bit surprising.
It's normally Matthew's favourite lane. A red light for a Les Holden. Look at Matheson carry the front wheel, puts it down on the ground just after half track and rolls to a 6:73, only 317 kilometres an hour. It's a win, but he may as well be 8th mile racing at the moment. He's got so much power he can coast the second half.
Yeah, Sunoco replay here. Les Holden went 7.94 seconds. Didn't matter. He left the red light on the screen. Chris Matheson, let's look at him to the left screen here. Launches hard. Actually overpowers the track slightly there. He has to pedal the bike, get on and off the throttle, and recovers to still go 6.7 seconds. Look at that, you can see him get off the bike and lifts him back up when he gets on the accelerator and rolls it through there for still over 300 kilometres an hour. Just absolute credit from these bikes.
Well, Gavin Spann now for Noodlebox. I think he's from Beenleigh here in Queensland. He's been racing motorcycles on the drag strip since the mid-70s. And he's been making noises about retiring. He wanted to have a really good swan song here at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals in Performance Wholesale Top Bike. He's up against Jay Upton. If he can win this race, well, he'd be going to a final, and he's been into a number of finals this season.
I think this is a really unpredictable race here because we know that Jay Upton's got all that amazing technology on this bike. Gavin Spann has been fairly consistent this season. He sort of dials the bike back a little bit, doesn't use all the horsepower that he's got. I think he's going to probably tweak it up a little bit here, knowing that Jay Upton's in the lane beside him.
Upton gets near the centre line, pulls the chute out, Spann comes back at him. Oh, 682 just hangs on for Jay Upton to a 688. I honestly thought the Spanner man was going to get him.
Yeah, Chris Matheson is here alongside me, and Matho, we didn't get the 5-second run yet, but you're going up against Jay Upton in the final. This could be side-by-side fives.
Hope so. We'll wait and see.
Well, the first one to do a 5 will be the first one to do it in Australia if we get side-by-side one. So it's exciting, really, isn't it? Top fuel bike, you guys in the final. It's been you and Jay neck and neck all season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a close tussle between the teams, so we're looking forward to the final tonight.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, Rob, that was just, this race is the race of the meet so far in Top Bike. Jay Upton, he's out. He's cruising to victory. He loses power. If Spann is looking at him, if this track was another 10-15 metres long, Gavin Spann gets the win.
I reckon another metre and a half might have just about done it, because Gavin Spann was hauling him in on the top end, and Jay Upton oh so lucky, the Western Australian there. He hung on. He is going to the final against Chris Matheson. It is the two powerhouses of Performance Wholesale Top Bike.
Yeah, Jay Upton here is alongside me, and you had to, Gavin fans made you work for this the whole way down the track. You've only just got through, but you're going through with Matho into the final.
Well, that's a good thing. I noticed they had to work for it too. They were up in smoke early, and I was looking at that and thinking, gee. But it looks like they got better at tidying that up. That's always been one of our specialties, tidying up and catching people. So it might be a battle fest in the final, I reckon. But yeah, we got a little issue in the braking area. I don't know quite what happened, but I ran out of system air.
Well, good luck. We hope you can get the bike turned around.
Oh, we'll get it turned around with a couple of hairy moments down the braking area there.
Well, Jay Upton's a guy that knows about hairy moments in the braking area. He's had a few of them. Have a look at that. The winners go through. It'll be Matheson and Upton again. Pro Bike final coming up for Serco. It is Katie Sullivan from California and this man, Ryan Learmonth from Perth in Western Australia, the new champion in the Pro Bike category. Katie, of course, flew this bike across. Serco, the category sponsor, well, they import motorcycle parts, etc. That's their business. They actually organised all of the transportation of this bike to get Katie Sullivan over here, and hasn't it paid off in spades? She's done a great job, run into the 6 seconds, the first female to do it on a motorcycle in Australia, and now she's into the final of the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals against a new national champion.
Katie Sullivan has a chance to take away the trophy from the Australians, but she's also got a little chance here to take away the national record back to the United States of America as well. Ranking that 696 in the semi-finals was actually under our national record in Pro Bike.
They come out almost together. Katie looks to have an advantage at half track. I don't think Ryan's going to be able to keep up. And Sullivan gets the win. 700, 308 against a 718. It is a great win for the US.
Absolutely, guys. Down here with Rhett Lockheed from the crew. Rhett, mate, that's a Winternationals win. That makes the trip, all the organisation, everything that went into this for Katie and yourself, it makes it worth it, doesn't it?
It does, mate, absolutely. You know what? I think everybody like Willowbank Raceway, Serco, Forceware Work, everybody's looked after us and treated us excellent.
All right, well, good luck anyway, mate. Thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Look at the Sunoco replay on board here with Katie Sullivan getting the win. She reset the national record on this pass. She's taking home the winner's trophy. She's taking home the national record certificate. It's been a great weekend for our international visitor.
Yeah, she couldn't really have done any more. That 7.0 backed up the earlier 690. You've got to do 2 runs within 1%. She gets the national record. And I don't think Ryan Learmonth's going to be too upset about only getting a championship. But California Katie, she's ready to celebrate.
Yeah, we're here with Katie Sullivan. Mate, you've come to Australia. You've taken out the biggest drag racing event in Australia.
Oh, I can't even believe it. It feels so surreal. Just everything about this trip has been a dream. And to be able to come here and win, I can't even describe how amazing it feels. Thank you to my team. And I miss my dad. I wish he could be here. But to Serco and Forceware Group and everybody that made this possible, I love you guys. Thank you.
I'll let our team down a little bit, Dan. I double shifted going second and third, and just the way my foot slipped a bit. But I'm not taking away from Katie. She's done an awesome job, awesome racer, awesome people. Yeah, congratulations to them. And yeah, we're just happy. We won the championship, so we'll go home like pretty stoked. So thank you.
You are the Australian Pro Bike champion, and we're glad to see you here.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
A great Western Australian win there, and there was not much in it at the end. Ryan Learmonth, 3:13 from Glen Worcester. Lockie Island got up into the third spot on the podium. Daniel Rabnott, Luke Crowley, Andrew Babcock, Morris Allen, Katie Sullivan into 8th from one event. And what an event it was for the Californian. Performance Wholesale Top Bike at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. There is Jay Upton being pushed back from his burnout as Chris Matheson lays down a haze of tyre smoke. Well, Upton from Western Australia. He is still, well, I think the man to beat. He's probably shown more consistency here than Chris Matheson, even though Matho had that 6-0 earlier.
The championship will be decided in this pass. These guys have split the event victory so far this season. Matheson's got 2 event victories. Jay Upton's got 2 event victories. Whoever gets number 3 will be your Top Fuel bike champion.
They came in here separated by only 3 points. Chris Matheson's been able to build on that because he top qualified. He got 8 points, but well, Jay Upton got 7. So there's only a 4-point margin separating these two at the moment. It is all about who gets the win light in this final pass of Performance Wholesale Top Bike. The Gulf Western Oil Winternationals at Willowbank. The final championship to be decided. Oh, look at the wheelie. Look at the wheel stand. Look at the win light. Chris Matheson comes from way back. A 766 isn't anything to write about, but it is an historic win. That was what I thought. That was what I thought we were going to see from Gavin Spann against Jay Upton before. The Nitro Flames go out, Mark.
It was a race of 2 stories there. Jay Upton got out. He was streaking away, and you seen Matheson fly by there on that shot. The Sunoco replay on board here. Upton, the flames up, and then he lost all the power, raw fuel out of the back of the pipes there. I think something's broken on that bike because he couldn't get back on it. Matheson, he's able to recover. He gets the win. Here's your 2019 Top Fuel bike champion.
I could not believe how high that wheel was as Matho rode that bike past 1,000 foot on one wheel to claim the Winternationals.
Yeah, we're down here with Chris Matheson. He has taken out the Top Fuel Championship in the 2018-19 season. Top bike it is. Chris Matheson gets himself a championship against Jay Upton. It went all down to this race, and what a way it was. You had to drive right around Jay to get the win as well.
Yeah, lucky to get it. Jay's a tough character, tough competitor, so we smoked the tyre in the early hit, and then it was a matter of trying to hook up and giddy up, head down, go. So well done to all my team, all my guys. You know, I can't do without them. Our sponsors, supporters, my family, fantastic.
I thought we had it covered, but I could hear him coming, and then the belt let go, and that was that. You know, I figured I was going to get there.
Well, congratulations. You got runner-up this year in the championship as well.
Yeah, some more number 2s. We got a dozen of them, I think. But
well, that's we'll see what the next season brings.
Absolutely, we'll be on top of it.
Well, what a way to finalise the 400 Thunder season for 2018-2019. Chris Matheson takes out the final championship to be decided in Top Bike. And the margin, oh so skinny to Jay Upton. Gavin Spann into 3rd spot. Les Holden across all the rounds of the series claims the number 4 spot from Adam Layton. Let's hope we see all of those guys back next season. And we know there's a few more bikes coming as well, because the new season gets underway at Sydney Dragway for the Atlantic Oil's East Coast Thunder on the weekend of the 1st and 2nd of November, and it's going to run right across the year through to the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals back here at Willowbank Raceway, June 4 to 7. It has been absolutely awesome bringing you all of the action of the 400 Thunder Professional Series right across the year, from Darwin to Sydney to here at Willowbank in Queensland. Thank you for your company, and we look forward to seeing you back next season.
Coming up after the break, we head to Winton Motor Raceway for the second round of the 2019 Australian Super Truck Nationals.